Welcome to the Pixelberry Choices podcast. I hope everybody's doing well. And today we're going to be talking about, you guess it, Immortal Desire, Chapter 7, Tensions Flare. The chapter description reads, things between the Clements and the Venandes are more tense than ever. Can you bring them together, or will your presence tear them further apart? Now, this chapter was interesting. It kind of felt short to me. Let me know what you guys thought, but it was an interesting chapter nonetheless. So basically, in the last chapter we saw, we came home. Our mom was definitely angry because we came a lot late because, oh wow, so much happened in between that. Mom doesn't know anything about that, and we wanted to keep her safe also. Like a lot of you said that our mom could be a really interesting character in this book, because in most of the books our parents don't play much bigger role, to be honest, because they just are there on our weddings or in some conversations, but actually to the plot how much important they're gonna be. I think our mom here gonna be really, really important, but only time will tell on that. I would say something like the dad in My Two First Loves. Let's see. Oh well. So starting with this, so we started the chapter. We are at school, and first you meet Cass. And if you had chosen Gabe to walk you home last night, or Gabriella, so Cass will be a little salty, but then you will get to choose some flirty options. You will challenge Cass, in a flirtatious way, like, "Are you jealous? You want some me time as usual." And then Cass will tell you that there's someone who would like to meet us, and we'll go with Cass outside, and then we will see the one guy, Seth, who has been with Cass all the time, and it's like they always are together. And this time when he approaches, we definitely know that this is not a human being, this is definitely a vampire. We checked the talisman, and it was cool, so he definitely didn't mean any threat, or he didn't come bearing, you know vengeance, at least. So we get to know him, and we learn that Cass is his mentor. So Seth is under Cass, learning all the things about vampire. He's the new vampire, and Astoria has assigned Cass this to teach her or him, Cass, some responsibility. As Seth said, we also learn that Cass takes some responsibility for Seth, like something that Seth messes up, and then it all comes to our mind. If you guys remember that, the first attack outside the woods, remember, on that festival day, when we saw Cass attacking a human being, and our mom's report that said two beasts or animals attacked that girl. So it was, the other one was Seth, and we say it, and Seth, all the color drains from his face, and we were a little loud, to be honest, in this excitement of all. And Cass gets angry because anybody could have overheard us. So for that, Cass got a punishment, and we also got dragged to the covens. And we know what happens after that. Cass got a silver burn in their hand. So Cass says if Cass didn't take the responsibility or fall for Seth as a new vampire, Seth could have gotten even worse, really bad punishment. So we get angry on the covens, or an Astoria and Lewin, basically, how this works and how cruel punishments they can give out. And then we see a shriek coming from the hallway. We go there, and we see two kids are fighting, and definitely one of them is Venendi, another one is the other coven, Lewin's coven, Clemens, and they're fighting. And definitely we have to do something with this, because whole Gabriella's transformation, and not transformation, but how we got to know her identity, and the whole fight that took place. Some Venendis got killed. This whole thing sort of fired up both the groups. They had some beef against each other as it is, and now we just basically poured some oil in this whole massacre, in this fire, and it's just burning high now. So we see they're even using their inhuman strength, so they're covered with blown, and students are there, so we can say something as a distraction, and we can disperse the crowd. And we see Gabriella and her friend will be helping us, and then we get to separate them, and finally we get to cool them down, and they go their separate way. And Cass was also there to helping disperse the crowd and sort of dissociate the problem. Cass, Seth, Gabriella, our main character, and the other human friend of Gabriella, and we work together there. But immediately after that, Cass goes her separate way. And then we're left with Gabriella, and we spend some time with her, and we will see on the aftermath of knowing Gabriella's true identity, how we're holding up. In this chapter, we'll learn about that. To be honest, we will say I personally chose to say I don't have any problem with that, and I'm personally going after Gabriella as a romance option. Cass is also really amazing because we have this whole vulnerable. We can be really vulnerable around her, like I explained in my last video, or him. Gender customizable. But Gabe is just too charming for me, I guess. Let me know who you guys going after. I know Cass has a big following compared to Gabe, just like Noah and My Two First Loves compared to Mason. But anyway, so in a diamond scene, we will go to. We also go to the before the diamond scene. We go to the forest, and Gabe will make. Will sort of arrange a get together between our main character and the vampire group, the Clements, and the vampire who was fighting in the school. He would also be there, and we'll get to know them. And they're Lewin's vampires, Clements, and they're pretty fun and chill. They're all in school. We'll recognize them from history class and other classes, and they'll be really chill. We'll be talking with them. They'll be playing football, and they'll be really fun to hang around. Like Cass's friends, Venandis tried to kill us, that girl, but they're really cool, and they want to show us around. And we also learn that they all know Gabriella's past, that her family members are vampire hunters, but they still accepted her. We also get a little history, not lesson, but glimpse of how the zone was discovered, the leyland, where the myth that vampires are sort of, they're not that resistant of the sunlight. Like sunlight really hurts the vampires, but that leyland made them resistant of the sunlight, and it didn't have an effect on them. And the vampire hunters used the sunlight on to their advantage and killed vampires at that time. But after the leyland was found, Astoria and Lewin, they grouped up. There was definitely a war, but they sort of made some truce, wrote the laws, how they're gonna work together, and also it attracted humans to come and live here, and they all live at peace. And that's all the rules we have there. And then we have all the other things that they said about Lewin being one of the possibly the best vampire between Astoria and Lewin, and they admire Lewin, of course, because they're from his coven. But we share a secret glance or private glance, Gabriella and us, because we know what Lewin is capable of, how chill a cold murderer he can be beneath his face. And then in a diamond scene, we get to rock climbing, basically a mountain climbing, I would say, with the vampire friends. And the Clement vampire, they just climb super fast, and we used our human strength and we climbed it one by one. But Gabriella was by our side the whole time. Gabe was by our side, I should say now. And Gabe didn't let us fall, even in some climb, like at a certain point we will ask Gabe for help, and they will help us climb. We will just cling to Gabe, and Gabe will jump with us, and then we will also climb on our own. It will really get them excited, the other coven members of Clemens who were already at the top, because they have never seen a human putting so much effort. So definitely fun to hang around it. Then we go to the top, and then they sort of share a mischievous smile, saying they should leave the romantic birds together. That is basically Gabe and our main character, and we spend a really amazing time on the top, and we have a heart to heart with Gabe, and we can have our second kiss if you already had the first kiss with Gabe on the doorway. And then we hear some sounds and shrieks of fighting, and then we go down, we see that the lunch fight has again resumed, and at lunchtime we sort of threaten them about Principal Astoria Yao walking on them, and that sort of dispersed the crowd and stop the fight. But here nothing's there, and they even get more angry, the Fernandez, Astoria's group member, upon seeing us that Clements are hanging us with our main character. Gabe is a goody two shoe, doesn't want to drink human blood that caused the problem. So, excuse me, they're never ready to see the point that it was Fernandez who tried to use Gabe's weakness against Gabe and sort of try to kill us. But the fight erupts and Gabe tries to again diffuse the fight, and then we see Cass walking in, and we can have a plan in a diamond scene with Cass and Seth. We will go with the help of Seth. We'll go to the top of the tree, and then we will give some commands to both Cass and Gabe, and also to Seth, and we'll get their attention. We will make sure that the fight doesn't escalate and both the group members are safe, Fernandez and Clemens, and then we will sort of reason with them and we will increase our sort of reputation in the vampire covens. So we have already increased reputation for Clemens if you take the previous diamond scene of rock climbing, but this time it will help us gain some points in terms of reputation for the Fernandez. But they will then despise us, saying even we sort of stop the fight from happening and gaining any human attention. But one thing will happen is that when the Fernandez will leave, they will show some despise not for only our main character Gabe and the Clements, but also for their group member Cass, saying Cass and Seth, who didn't participate in the fight, was on the sideline. They will just look down Seth and basically shame everybody and will leave there. Even they will tell that Cass didn't stand up for the group, the coven, that is their Cass's group, and Cass helped the enemies, the other group, and they will finally leave. Gabe will try to thank Cass, but again, classic Cass, they will leave too, and finally we will go home. And this being solved, when we reach home, we see everything is at place, because every time we're reaching home, our heart is pounding, thinking something bad might happen, to our mom. And then we reach inside and we see that, or we hear rather, something really, really bad is about to happen, because our mom is talking to phone on someone about a new murder that happened at the jungle, and also that our mom wants to run some tests, and if the results come from those results and everything, a mom will be able to confirm more about these killings, or rather about the killer. So who is doing it, or rather what is causing these deaths or killings. And if this happens, then this is a package deal. Our mom and our main character are a package deal. Both of our heads will be rolling on the floor of the coven, in front of Astoria and Lewin. And Astoria, even Lewin gave us clear warning that something happens, they both will finish us, not Astoria alone. So this is gonna be pretty hard. The next chapter description, we definitely would have to do some convincing that I don't know what we're gonna do. What do you guys think will happen in the next chapter? Definitely for the non-VIP folks, because I think if you have VIP, you've already read this. But I don't know what can happen. Like, I personally think that we will try to convince mom to not go with this anymore, but I don't think that will work with our mom. She is really determined and stubborn, just like our main character. She'll definitely try to reach to the bottom of this, just like our main character, but this will get in her trouble. So we may try to sort of, like, with the help of either Gabe or Cass or both of them, I don't know how it will work, but we can sort of try to erase or sort of replace the result with something fake that will tell us, like, an animal attack or something. I don't know what will happen, but something like that could happen. And also, one more thing is that Gabe and Cass, I think it's time, we're already halfway through the book, if I'm not wrong, they will start working together. Morgan, Bastine, about after 10 chapters, they sort of started working together. Even there was grudge. Mason Noah, they started working a lot well, I guess, compared to other enemies. So these kind of whenever there are two love interests with contrasting personality and stuff, I think they will start working together pretty soon. But I'm so far liking how they have the romance chances with Gabe and Cass, and how the other one gets jealous of you know the one we choose for our diamond saints or to spend time with. I think this is pretty unique feature because in most books we see that there are four love interests and we're saying that, oh, I'm just gonna go out with that love interest, and all the other love interests are like, yeah, fine, cool, no worries, and then in the next scene they'll be also like, hey, you want to go out with in a separate scene. So I think what's happening here is basically you have exact consequences, like this is really close to real life, right? It feels real, like your choices have more impact in this book. Like if you're choosing someone and the other one is getting actually jealous, and that's, I think, a good feature in terms of choices. Let me know how you guys feel about that. And one thing I forgot to mention in my last video, and you guys mentioned in the comments that the soundtrack, yes, how can I forget, it has some amazing soundtrack and choices. Last time, I think, Wake the Dead I was playing, I often think about it, and I always talk about it, with you guys. That even we used to talk about so much. I know, in my personal life, stuff happened. I got busy in between after Wake the Dead and stuff. But also, I really didn't feel like it. Like the books were released. The books are good books. Like Crimes of Passion or Cursed Heart, but Wake the Dead was on another level. We'll talk about another video. Cursed Heart first two chapters, Crimes of Passion first two chapters were amazing, but then Wake the Dead first two chapters were not as good as Crimes of Passion first two chapters. But as a whole book, as it progressed, Crimes of Passion got less interesting. It's still a good book, but Wake the Dead, oh my god, I still got chills thinking, excuse me, how it didn't get a sequel. So, but after a long time, Immortal Desire, it's really coming out. You talk about the soundtrack, you talk about the love interest, you talk about it as a whole. It's just amazing book. I mean, first 6 chapters, I couldn't do a weekly review because I still had some things to do, but now I will bring out weekly reviews for, you guessed it, Immortal Desire. I'll try to catch up with Cursed Heart. I'll bring out weekly reviews for that after reviewing first 10 chapters. And then, of course, Crimes of Passion. I'll continue with one chapter because that's just one book of a, mystery of this year, I should say. Murder Homecoming is around the corner for non-VIPs, and for VIPs it's already being released, but I'll bring that out. Let me know, guys, in the comments your thoughts and opinions about all these, and specifically about chapter 7 of Immortal Desire. And in general, if you have come this far and you have just started Immortal Desire, I hope I didn't spoil much for you, but let me know, even if you have played more chapters for VIP, it doesn't matter if you completed the book. Let me in the comments, what do you think about Immortal Desire? I mean, it's just an amazing book so far for me. Your favorite love interest we're going for. Did you flip-flop between the love interests? Like at the start you thought you're gonna go after them, then you change no this, then you're like no. So like, how is it going for you? And let me know your plot, your predictions, everything. Comment below in the comments. I have really missed the comments. I think the last Immortal Desire video I posted, the first 6 chapters review, that video really felt close to the time when I used to do Wake the Dead. I will be talking so much with you guys in the comments and just felt really amazing. So let's get back to that with Immortal Desire, and all the other books are coming, and August is ending soon. So you know what it calls for. I will do April to September, August book reviews, or I should say book ranking, but also what I'm planning to do, a half yearly book ranking. So where I'll be ranking all the books in, released and that are ongoing in the first 6 months of the year. So there will be Wake the Dead, there will be Mortal Desire, there will be Crimes of Passion, there will be a lot of book. It's gonna be fun. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. As I said, I'll see you in the next video. Till then, peace out.